are you guys? I guess I can pull up my chair. Look at these squishies in the back. Doesn't that make your heart happy? Makes my heart happy. So, as you can tell, we are yet again running to the last minute. Cayley's phone is dying, so she's plugging it in now to make sure that we don't run out of juice. And I'm going to find our live page so I can see your comments. We planned on going live at 9, and let's just say we had a lot of shipping that took us a lot longer than we intended, and one of our girls was off, and it's just been a day. So tell us about your weekend. How's your January so far? You might hear shipping in the background, FYI. If you guys have any questions, drop them in the comments. In the meantime, I'm going to give you guys an update on where we are right now. So, as I said, we had a lot of shipping today. I don't know exactly how many. We've kind of been debating on how many, but without guessing, or without actually counting, my guess is somewhere around like 175, potentially more. We counted, well, so one of us counted 165. One of us counted 173 without any of the like stuff we don't have SKUs on, so like our hanging stuff. So we don't really know yet. We haven't had time to count because we're literally still have one of our girls shipping right now. So she is on her last Posh bundle, and Posh bundles have been insane for us. But anyways, back up. Things have not been going as planned. Oh, you know what, Hannah, you right. We don't need to go to the post office today. It's a holiday. They're closed. Cayley's giving thumbs up in the background. We were literally just, oh, I guess it was not a thumbs up. It might have been another hand gesture. We're not going to talk about.
Totally forgot about that.
I'm glad you said something, because we would have shipped regardless because we wouldn't want to leave it for tomorrow. But we were literally just talking about when we were going to go to the post office, and had I loaded my car up with all of that shipping, I might have lost it. So, anyways.
Heidi, it might be. We haven't figured it out.
Yes.
I want to say that there's close to 200 items. There's a lot. There's a whole train. To me, it looks like the biggest amount we've ever shipped, but
maybe we'll show you guys before we get off today what the shipping train looks like. We'll see. A lot. Anyways, though, things have not been going as planned, as you guys can tell. We kind of made a joke this week that it seems like every Monday we get on, or every Monday that we actually get on, we say, we're going to do it this time, we're going to be reliable, and then something else happens, and something keeps us from doing it. This time has kind of been a good thing, because we unexpectedly hired again. So we ended up meeting somebody, and just honestly, we're thrifting and having conversations with her, and actually, Cayley made the joke. She said, you should just get her to source for us. And I was like, I'm gonna try to figure it out. And in like maybe 20 minutes, we sealed the deal. So I feel pretty good about it. I think she feels pretty good about it. It is so hot. I think she feels pretty good about it too. But that's obviously taken some time for us. I spent a couple days last week, or it's 2 weeks ago, working with her, and then just kind of some daily communication back and forth. But we are growing again, and I think, Lord help us, start praying. We're going to need another new person in probably the next couple of months, maybe even next month. But I'm just trying to not think about it for this meantime, just because, to be honest, it's been a lot, and it's only January the 16th. So
yeah, it is a lot. We're thinking about hiring someone to just do like shipping and inventory, because to be honest with you, if one person was doing shipping on Mondays, it's not quite there yet, but we're thinking that it might end up being a whole day process at some point. So we're kind of looking into that, and normally we say grow very slow, and I do suggest that, but we couldn't pass up this opportunity. We also met somebody online who is, we're testing the water. Well, we're testing the waters out with both, but I also have someone online who watches the channel and reached out to me and is going to start doing like wholesale sourcing for resellers. That's our plan anyway. So I'm kind of just doing a trial period with her. Actually, to be honest, haven't opened the boxes. We're going to do that today. But I have another potential sourcing opportunity. So we've been very blessed because that was the one area where we were always getting behind, was we could get everything listed and deal with the sales, but we weren't able to source. And I think most of that is because we live so far away from our thrift stores. So that's been great, and hopefully we'll continue. We're also really diving in with one of our employees to become a better sourcer. So yeah, hopefully that'll open us up eventually to be able to do mentorships with you guys, accountability groups, things like that. We've definitely hear you guys. A lot of people have been reaching out to me lately and commenting, and it's definitely something we want to do, but we don't want to pull the trigger if we're not ready, and there's just a lot going on right now.
We have a lot of things we've wanted to do. It's just the commitment. Like, even these lives, we say every week, we're going to get on, we're going to be reliable, we're going to be consistent, and we sad because we preach consistency, but we are being consistent in everything else. It's just this for us is like an extra avenue.
Yeah.
We have to keep the rest of the business stuff going, and I look very forward to doing mentorships. Like, that's one thing I'm really excited about doing, and working with people and kind of helping them get started. But I also would hate for you guys to start and us to start like a mentorship program and not be as dedicated to you guys as what we need to be. So I think it's coming. My goal is like mid-year, but we'll see. So
wow, we have a lot of questions, so maybe we should just get into
let's do it. Yeah, I'm game.
Yeah, there's 99 people here already. Autumn's Upscale Resell, you just came in. We've only been live for almost 7 minutes, so we've just been chit-chatting about where we're at. If you guys have anything for us reselling related, drop those questions in the comments below, because we don't really have a topic today. It's been so long since we've seen you guys. We figured you guys would have a lot of questions, so we're just going to dive right in.
First things first, we're going to say hey to everybody. I have a lot of good mornings from Louisiana and from Florida, North Carolina. I'm about to just come your guys' way. It sounds like a nice trip. Glad you guys could catch a live, so welcome. Oh, Stephanie likes my shirt. Thanks. I love this. I don't even know. I found this thrifting. I'm pretty sure 90% of the clothes I wear are thrifting now, so it's fine. But thank you. Hannah told us that the post office was closed, so thanks for that. I owe you one. Maybe I need to like find a way to send you a coffee, because I would have taken them all there and been so devastated.
We were still gonna ship anyways, but probably not take them to the post office.
What do you think of the app Magic Scripter? I don't know what that is. Do you know?
No idea. Let us know.
Eid1. I don't know what Magic Scripter is, so I can tell you we don't use it. But if you can let us know what that is, then let us know. Shayna says, I gotta stop sleeping on Poshmark. Girl, let me tell you what. Oh my gosh, we have had so many. I think out of all the things we've had today, shipping wise, only 40 of those were eBay. The rest of those were Poshmark. A bunch on Poshmark. So yeah, stop sleeping on it. It's worth it.
When I first started on Poshmark, can I just tell you guys a quick story about how I got on Poshmark?
Yes.
Okay. When I first got on...
I don't think I know this story.
Oh, you probably don't.
I don't think I know this story.
This was years ago, and I was like, Poshmark. There's this complicated platform. So I was on eBay. Everybody thinks eBay's the complicated platform. I was on eBay and like didn't have it quite down pat, but was pretty comfortable with it. And then I saw started watching videos on Poshmark, and I was like, that seems so complicated. Like, I'm never getting on Poshmark. That seems way more complicated than eBay. Just because they have like the sharing aspects and all that. I didn't know what it was. So I listed a Free People railroad stripe mini dress on there, and I was like, guaranteed this thing's gonna sell. Listed it, nothing sold, had like no interest. Now, to be fair, I didn't know like that I needed to share or do anything like that, but I got no comments, not really any likes or anything like that, and I listed like 2 items, and then I did nothing else, and they obviously didn't sell. So then I was like, screw this. 6 months went by, and then I started like learning about List Perfectly and how you could use it to cross post. And I was like, maybe I'll get Poshmark a try again. Like, maybe I just didn't understand. And then I went on and have been having consistent sales since. But it just goes to show that you can't just go on a platform, list a couple things, wait for them to sell, and expect for things to happen.
It's kind of that way. We have that mentality with thrift stores too. If we hit a store once and it doesn't go well, we make sure we hit it a couple more times before we say we're done with it.
Poshmark's been really good though. Really good for, I will say it's been really good for clearancing out items for sure. And I really love about Poshmark that they don't charge you for listing. And to me, that's like a huge bonus, because with eBay, you got to pay to list. You got to pay all these fees for everything you do on there pretty much. It does make us a lot of money, so it's totally worth it. But with Poshmark, like if you're somebody on another platform and you want to jump ship, Poshmark's really good because it's easy and they don't charge you like listing fees, which is great.
Other comments about people saying they can't ship. Hanging out with my reselling peeps. Welcome. We're glad you're here. Do you guys have an arrangement with the post office where they know when you'll arrive? I imagine they'd like to be prepared, or they'd need to be prepared. We try to drop them off like first thing as soon as we're finished, just so that way they have all day. We are really blessed, in all honesty, that our post office is really good. We don't like wait for them to scan packages or anything. We literally just pull up back. They have bins out. We dump everything in, and then we normally just open the door and shove them in and say, hey, we're here. And they're fine with that. And they just scan them throughout the day, like as they have time. But occasionally we aren't the best and we wait until like after lunch, but we try really hard to take them first thing in the morning. I know later there's a comment about asking if they pick them up. We don't have them pick them up just because honestly we're kind of paranoid that like they might forget someday, or we might miss them, or somebody might not be here for them to pick them up. We don't live in an area where we can like set them out for them to pick them up. We'd have to have somebody here, which we normally do, but you know, if they're out or in the restroom or whatever that looks like, we're worried we might miss them, and then that kind of becomes an issue. In all honesty, I think it's just because I'm paranoid, but I prefer dropping them off because I know that they're there and we did our deed and we can move forward.
Well, I used to, just to touch on that, I used to do pickup like at my house when it was at my house, and I did that at multiple different places that I lived. One area that I lived, it was amazing. The carrier picked up every day. I knew her name. She knew me. I just left a tote on my porch. Of course, I couldn't do that now. We'd have like 12 totes. But I had a tote on my porch. She would pick it up every day. She never missed a day. And then on the flip side of that, I tried it in another city where I lived, and it was horrible. And I had like late shipments because people didn't pick them up, and I was rushing to the post office at the last minute after I would get off of work in order to get it scanned within time. So my advice to anybody that wants to do a scheduled pickup is to test it out in your area and try to talk to your carrier that's coming to your house to like let them know that it has to be done every day and kind of gauge their reaction, because some people are like really on top of it. You'll be able to tell if they're going to be on top of it or not, or if they're like yeah, and then you'll know you got to take them or have somebody pick up. But if you can't have somebody pick up, it's tremendous. It's great.
Doug wants to know, would you mind explaining how you handle international shipping? I'd like to use the global shipping program with eBay, but I'm concerned about expensive/complicated returns. Thanks, Doug's Dynamite Deals. I like that name. That's cool.
That is cool. So real quick, eBay is switching their international shipping program. So I'm just going to tell you that it's in beta testing, but it's soon going to be rolled out to everybody, and it's super duper easy. It's basically you just check something that says you allow it, and then we had to convert all of our listings over, but it's basically like the flip of a switch. And then after that, all you do is it's like your regular shipping. You send it to essentially a distribution center within the United States. They pick it up from there and they handle the rest. And so you're protected as a seller with that if something happens, all you're responsible for is getting it to their distribution center. I don't want to swallow your brain right now, so I'm just going to say, like, don't overcomplicate it. It's basically a flip of a switch. Same thing with the global shipping program. It's the same way, but you just turn it on, and then you're only expected to ship it domestically to a certain point, and they handle the rest. As far as returns go, you have a choice on whether to accept international returns or not. eBay will default to saying it's not allowed. And to be honest with you, I think there's only ever been one time that somebody internationally wanted to return something, And I don't even think they ended up doing it because it was so much of a hassle that international buyers are very discouraged from trying to return something. I don't think it's going to be an issue. So unless something goes horribly wrong with an item, if we had that happen, we would probably just refund, but just so we didn't have to deal with a complication. But otherwise, it's super easy and we haven't really had any issues with it.
Gee Whiz Man, first of all, earlier made a comment asking if job opportunities were remote and said, I kid. I never
I've been
thought.
talking with him on Instagram.
Have you? Okay. I never thought that we would go remote again at any point. We now have a remote person, but
Kind
again,
of.
yes, kind of. We meet up at least a couple times a week, and she does some work from her home, which was way different than we anticipated, but I think it's gonna be really good. So, but they have a question. They direct messaged you, I'm assuming on Instagram, but since you're on the topic, where were you in your business when you began bringing in a team? When she got lonely, she wanted company. I'm just kidding.
I'll just say that I definitely hired sooner than I probably should have. And this is like a video for another day because I've been getting a lot of messages of people that are like, yeah, you're sharing your gross sales, but you don't tell all your expenses in your net. And like, I get very frustrated by that because I'm like, why does it benefit you? Because it doesn't. Because everybody is different. Everybody needs to figure out their own situation. And by knowing like exactly my situation, it's never going to help you. You got to figure that stuff out for your own. But I will say that compared to a lot of other states, paying wages is significantly cheaper here in Ohio than, let's say, California or Texas or something like that. So I do have a lot of wiggle room. But not saying you're asking all these questions, but just while we're on the topic, wanted to throw it out there. I got a video coming up about that. But when I first started hiring, I was definitely hiring sooner than I probably should have. But my mindset on hiring is to get myself out of working in the business every day. I don't want to be here working manual labor 40 hours a week. I want to still be involved, but I'm trying to get myself out of that so that I can focus on things like YouTube. I'm trying to get Nikki out of part of it so she can help focus on like mentorship groups with me because I'm not going to be able to do it myself. So I do think I have a different mentality when it comes to hiring, and that's why I really recommend that you do things that work for you for your situation, but just wanted to throw that out there. But when I first started hiring, it was because I was able to get a bunch of inventory and I was making a lot of sales, but I got to a point where I was like, if this is going to grow anymore, I physically do not have any more time. So I ended up having to hire somebody in order to grow my sales. And since then I've been like growth. I've mentioned it on the channel before. I do work like a remote part-time like online job for my own family business. So I personally have, I won't say a lot, but I have a lot of risk tolerance because of that, because I have money to fall back on where I don't need to be putting money directly into my pocket as much as maybe some of you do, but I still put money into my pocket. And my goal is to remove myself from tasks so that I can focus on the back end of it and do the same for Nikki for some of her job. So because of that, we hire, I would say, a lot sooner than most people would. But I would say if you get to a point where you're like, I physically cannot do anything else and I still need to grow, that's probably when you want to hire. But first, and this is something I did not do, which I recommend everybody else do, is get efficient first.
Yes.
Cut everything out that you can. Try to do it yourself. Do as much as you can. If that means you have to take a step out of a process, get it down before you start hiring somebody, not as you're hiring somebody.
We go through that every new person. Yeah. Every single time we get a new person, you realize there's things that you could have cut out or there's things you want to change. And now every additional person that you add, you have to implement that through the entire system. So I agree there. Freedom Finder says, congrats on the sales. Do you ever get discouraged when you have slow sales? Yes and no.
We had a really slow sales week. Have I? It's 2 what sold videos ago, so it would have been about 3 weeks ago. We had a really slow sales week. Honestly, I thought last week was slow, and then I did the numbers. I was like, oh, we killed it. It was fine. But it seemed really slow. Like, we had, if you're looking at it on just a day, like, there were some days, I think we only shipped out, like, 20 items, which were usually, like, 30 to 40 on a regular daily basis, excluding Mondays. So that, for me, I was like, what are we doing wrong? What happened? And then I was like, oh, it's fine. Like, we'll catch up throughout the week. So we get nervous and we're like, that's odd. And we try to kind of look into it, but we don't spend our whole day on it. I've been reselling long enough that I know that there's periods of slow time, there's periods of growth, and I don't get very caught up about it. There was a day, I don't know if it was last year or the year before that, but we had 0 sales.
Yeah, I was like, I walked in and I was like, I don't even know what to do.
Yeah.
We have nothing to ship.
Yeah.
It was very odd. But I like, honestly, this might sound bad, and I swear I don't mean this to be like into myself or conceited. But when those days happen, I honestly just take that as like a gift for the day. That like God saying you were tired today and you needed to rest. Like, and I kind of take it that way. I'm like, okay, for some reason something happened, and as long as it doesn't create like a long trend, I take it as just kind of like a breath of fresh air where you can breathe a little bit, relax a little bit, maybe get some other things done at the office that you haven't had time to. Maybe that's your sign. If you like hate doing photos, okay, now you don't have anything to ship, you need to do more photos that day. I use that as just kind of like the opportunity to get other things done that I might be skipping. But yes, if that happened like all the time, I would obviously start looking into it and be concerned. But I definitely feel like it is common for people to get kind of discouraged if they're not seeing things sell. But my signature line is always going to be stay the course no matter what happens. Just keep pushing forward. It takes you a while to build up those sales. Takes you a while to build up your customer base, and just don't let that discourage you from what you're doing. Just keep going. Shayna says that she has too many sourced items. My problem is always getting pictures done. My baby always sabotages me because I do it in my living room. Girl, it sounds like you need to start wholesaling out some of that stuff you bought at Cayley, Elaine. Start sending it our way. We'll help you list it. We'll get it out of there. Come on. Bring us your honey hole. We won't even be sad.
We definitely get a lot of comments from moms. I do think it's very difficult. Like, if Nikki had her kids here, I feel like she'd probably get nothing done. But it's like, do you need to get a babysitter, somebody to watch? There's, you probably already watch her, but there's someone called Hustle at Home Mom on YouTube. She's pretty popular. But she deals with the same stuff. I'd maybe recommend watching her, but she finds ways to fit stuff into pockets of time, but it can be very difficult.
My go-to is nap time. I get so much stuff done at nap time when my little one is asleep. Like, that's just, I know I typically have like a 2 to 3 hour stretch of time where I can like get things done. If you know that there's like a specific task, like specifically photographs that you're struggling with, maybe allot that during the time while they're napping or whatever that looks like for them, and then get that stuff finished first. And then if you know there's things that you can like work on, like for me, cross posting is one of those things I can work on with my kids like talking to me in the background, and like it's just so like mindless, I just click and kind of move on, that I would save that for when they were talking in my ear or shooting me with Nerf guns or whatever that looks like. So
we've got 155 people watching and only 41 thumbs up. If you guys could take just 2 seconds and hit the thumbs up button, we'd really appreciate it. Because
I'm here. If I took my face out of frame.
Stop.
She's so over my crap.
Please give us a thumbs up. It really helps the channel. It's a free way to support us.
They're like, I'm not giving you crap. You said you were going to be here last week and you didn't show up. It's like a second date you just didn't show up for.
Yeah, we've been really bad about getting on lives every week, but just to, I mean, I've said this in like videos leading up till now, but we're just going through substantial growth really quickly and trying to manage that. And unfortunately, social media comes second to that, which is why I would like to get to a place where I can focus on it more.
You know, when you like are on a roller coaster and you have that like steady like click 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 as you're going up, like that's what we're looking for. But what happened is we already went down that cliff, right? and then it had like a couple loops, and then it shifted us back on top of the next mountain, and we didn't even know the mountain was there. And now we're about to fall over the edge again. So like we're getting there, but that's what it feels like. It's like we started on a roller coaster and we just have so much like gravity and momentum and force that's just dragging us into the next mountain, which is good. Again, not complaining.
We could have the opposite problem.
I don't want that to sound like we're complaining, because we're not. But I also just want you guys to kind of know where we're at and where the confusion's coming from. And like, I promise you, we don't get on every week and be like, we're gonna do better, and then we're like, whatever. Like we are really trying. It just, like I said, this woman number 3 just fell in our lap, and it was literally when we were out thrifting, and a week later we'd signed paperwork and we were moving on. So it is good. It's moving fast. I'd like to say we're going to be consistent. I'm not making that promise this week because I don't know. I just know it's not going to happen. I know that sounds bad again, but I'm just being honest. Y'all will never get me not being honest.
We're trying to get on as we can.
Yes.
Anyways, you guys when we can.
Melissa wants to know, how much money do you have tied up in unsold inventory? You got to guess. I have no clue.
Do you mean by unsold inventory, do you mean like the stuff that's for sale active, or do you mean like we haven't even started drafting it?
Ooh, that's a good question. I took it as like actually an inventory that just hadn't been sold.
I mean,
yet.
I can answer both. Can you get your calculator out?
Oh, me? Here, let me get my phone.
It's right there.
Ooh, where? Right here? Oh, girl, we got a calculator on here.
Okay. So we actually have less than 5,000 items now, but let's just say it's 5,000. And just to kind of like round
Blanket.
up. Yeah, let's say $5 in inventory, which I don't think it is, because that's not our average cost of goods, because we have shopped at the bins and stuff.
$25,000.
Yeah, so in active listed inventory, just again as a roundup, we've got probably less than, but about $25,000 wrapped up in inventory that's for sale and active. As far as stuff that is like we haven't even drafted yet, that's just sitting there, we only have about a week's worth, which is, let's just say 5 times, how many are we getting now? Like,
I'd say we have about $1,000. Because we have a little more than a week, I think.
Oh, okay. So we got about $1,000 wrapped up in that we haven't started yet. But obviously sales are outweighing that significantly.
We already talked about that. Hello, beautiful people. Hi, MJ and Jewelry Findings. Nice to see you. I can't remember your name. I'm so sorry.
I was thinking about her the other day because I've been seeing a lot of jewelry like
around
bundle things at different thrift stores. I was gonna message you, but I was like, I don't know. She's probably already seen these.
Do you guys ever buy pallets? I got into a heated discussion the other day when someone made a comment online that there's no way someone can make over $100,000 a year sourcing from Goodwill alone. We do not buy pallets. We don't. And I don't know. I've asked Cayley about it. I've thought about it because I'm like, oh, I wonder what that looks like. But she did bring a good point that a lot of the like liquidation pallets, a lot of them have all the same items, and it's like a race to who can sell or who can list them first. I feel like, and I'm not saying we're going to, but what I'm saying is I feel like if pallets were your thing, you would want to get a pallet and get it up like ASAP, like immediately. So like get it, work through the entire thing within like a day or so, and then get it all up and going before you get the next one. Just because I feel like if you got a pallet and waited a couple weeks, you might be kind of behind the trend. And I'm not saying you still couldn't sell it, but you might not make as much as what you would had you been the first one to get those items up.
Everything that we get, even the stuff that people have sold to me to resell, comes from thrift stores. Yes. And I honestly prefer it that way because I can control what I'm bringing in, the sell-through rate of items. Like if it doesn't sell, it's my fault, not somebody else's that I feel kind of out of control over. But I also just like saving things from the landfill. So for me, I really enjoy going to thrift stores. Just, again, this is not net because I have a ton of expenses that I don't share here. But we did gross over $200,000 revenue in 2022 from just thrifted items. That's obviously gross revenue, but we went way over $200,000 in sales. So it is totally possible. Granted, there's more than one of us helping, but
granted,
you could do it.
If they ever say that to you again, I would say, you're right. I don't make $100,000 off Goodwill. I make $100,000 off of Goodwill and mom and pop thrift store number A12345, whatever. I'll name all the places. Yeah, you're right. I don't make it on Goodwill alone. I go other places. And those thrift stores are called blank.
Yeah. We mostly shop at Goodwill though, to be honest.
We do. We have a couple
Yeah.
Other like chain ones that we hit that are in certain areas. But for the most part, there's like 3 main branded ones that we tend to hit, and honestly it's really the top 2. Top 1's definitely Goodwill.
Totally doable. I do feel like you have to be willing to travel outside of like just within your like 15-minute radius. I think that's a lot of times people get frustrated. They're like, I don't see how you bring in all this inventory. Well, we drive.
Yes, Michelle brings a good point too. It also just depends on where you live and what's available around you. Yeah. If you told me, or if somebody told me they made $100,000 from the Goodwill in our little area, I would be like, I'm calling your bluff. Like, I would probably say the same thing. Like, there's no way. But I've been there. I know what kind of stuff's there, and like normally the highest dollar stuff you're gonna find there's like American Eagle, and 99.9% of that's just overused, not worth it, size 00, like not desirable eBay wise. So maybe it's depending on where their area was. I don't know, but I don't remember who just brought that up. That was a good point. I want to know about listing. I know you use List Perfectly, but can you talk about time to list? I'm having trouble listing more than 10 in 2 hours. Please help.
Okay. So let me just say that you can do this however you see fit. We do not think that there's one better way or order of doing it. We just do what works best for us.
Yes.
And we do use List Perfectly, but what works best for us is starting the draft in eBay.
Yes.
And there are many different reasons for that. But if you were doing this solo and you were going to be the same person listing the item like totally through the finish line, I would say that starting your listing on List Perfectly is a really good option for you, and then setting it out. But just so you know, we personally start in eBay. eBay, we've kind of figured out on average, I would say, how many would you say listings start to finish, like a photo and a draft?
I would say it's probably like 6 minutes each.
6?
Because we normally say about 3 minutes to photo and 3 minutes to do the details. So yeah. Say about 6 minutes a piece.
Yeah. Most people, from what I've seen around the reselling community, a good like standard pace and average would be that you could like start to finish, including photos and everything, list 10 items an hour. Like that's everything though.
That's why I kind of laughed, because like we've gone back and forth. That's why I chuckled. Like, we've gone back and forth on so many different ways of like what's the best way and how long it's going to take us to do it, and what's the best way for lights, and like all of that has a huge effect on that too. So like we're not going down this rabbit hole. I'm just saying this. So if y'all start down this photo rabbit hole, I swear I will literally walk. I can't go through another fight. That's probably part of the reason why I haven't been doing lives, because like sometimes these live makes me feel like I'm about to lose my sanity. I don't want to debate. So if you have an opinion, cool. Say it in your own mind and then just leave it there. We cut out using lights. It does not matter. We're not going to talk about it. But it did save time. So if you have individual things that you do specifically during your photos, or you have to walk a ways longer than what we do. Like, there's so many factors that go into your own individual setup, how your home or your office is set up. Like, to say that there's a specific amount of time it should take you, I just don't think is reasonable. Now, like, you want to send us like your list of steps, maybe we can help you find a step to cut out, but without you looking at your area, or maybe having somebody, a partner, a friend, come into your area and say, well, why don't you save time doing this? I think each person's setup and each person's order on things can really change the amount of time. So what we might be able to do is 10 an hour, but we're also in an office with pretty much unlimited amount of space. We cut out lights. We don't have to walk around them, trip over them, anything like that. Like, we save a lot of time because stuff is already set up every day. we don't have to set anything up. So if you're doing this from like your home, that can have a huge effect. And I only know that because I have traveled to work with this new hire of ours, and I know that there's going to be some like time differences because the setup. You know what I mean?
Shout out to Big Yumbo. I saw one comment, but I must have missed the last one. Yes, Big Yumbo. You guys should go follow his channel. It's BIG space YUMBO. I would consider him a reselling bro. We're not like besties, but
reselling bro.
But he does watch the channel. I try to support him and watch his channel too. I don't always get around to watching everybody that I want to support, but we do try to like comment on each other's. But he tries to follow the same kind of model, like high sell-through rate, selling items quickly. His channel's growing. He's got, in my opinion, a good, funny, like almost. He's got my sense of humor, so you guys would probably like him. But yeah, he does mention our channel a lot, and I think that's just because we try to follow the same model. As far as the photography setup goes, here's what I'll say. I would say if I were like your mentor and you were asking me, I would say I would try to get to a point, figure out a way to list start to finish 10 items an hour. I think that's a good goal for you. I know your setup's going to be different. As Nikki talked about, everyone's business is different. And I could talk for hours about this because people really frustrate me over this, but you got to do what works for you or you're not going to be happy in your business. If I were to give some tips, what I would say is, number one, try to find a way to do things in bulk. So if you're currently doing like a photo, uploading the photo, finishing out the draft, and then going back and doing it to the same one, I would say stop doing that. Attempt to do it in bulk, meaning if you've got 10 items you want to list, photograph all 10, upload all 10, and then finish drafting all 10 and then put all 10 away. That's going to save you time. Number two, as Nikki said, start looking at proximity of how far you're having to walk. That made a big difference for us, is putting like our table where the scale and everything, our measurements were, so that we basically were not walking very far. We just have to turn and deal with it there. And it's like almost like a radius. Circle. Yeah, you're walking in a circle almost. So if you're finding yourself having to constantly walk really far, that stuff does add up, as little as it is. And you'll get into a better flow of things if things are in proximity of you versus in like a million different places. So look at that. And then number three is cut out anything unnecessary. And that's kind of like Nikki was talking about. We decided to stop with the lighting system because it was in the way and it didn't make that big of a difference on sales. And we've saved significant time doing that. So those would be my 3 tips for you. Do things in bulk, cut out processes, and then look at proximity. Mm-hmm. And then try to aim for 10 an hour if you can. That would be a good goal.
Mindy wants to know if we use the Real. Occasionally we do, for things that are like really high dollar, like luxury items. We send them in so that they verify them and sell them for us, so we don't have to worry about veros or anything like that.
There's also like some brands that sell better on the Real for more money and for quicker than they do on eBay, so we send those brands in there.
Dibs wants to know, how do you decide how much to pay your employees? There's a lot of thought process.
This area,
area, minimum wage, essentially like what other jobs that are similar are paying, experience for your people. Have they done anything similar?
Other forms of compensation, time off. I think I've made a decision in my business that I'm not probably going to share many details of like what we're doing, A, for security reasons, but also B, I just feel like it's detrimental to resellers watching who feel the need to duplicate every single thing that I do when it's not going to be the best decision for you. So I think I've made that decision that I worry that I am hurting the community. They think I'm hurting them by not telling them, but I really feel like I'm hurting the community by giving specific numbers out because it's not going to be the same for everybody. I will say, and somebody reached out to me on Instagram actually this last week and asked the same question, and I gave a very vague answer because I was the same thing as you. I was like, it's really going to matter where you're at, da 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 da. But I will say, I would, in my personal opinion, in order to get quality candidates, pay higher than minimum wage.
Yes.
And ask
Yep.
yourself how much they're going to have to train and how much you're going to invest in them. And
think long down the road too. So, think about like what are your raises going to look like? Again, how much time are you giving them off? If they can go to, I don't know, McDonald's, I'm just going to say McDonald's, and make the same amount of money with less responsibility than what you're asking them to do, that's something you have to take into consideration too. If they have experience, I think you should offer them some experience, pay for that. I also feel like you need to keep in mind those raises so you can mention that and say, okay, you get a raise with, X performance. And like we obviously work through that with our people as well. And one thing that we do is we like to ask them like where would you like to see yourself pay wise, and then try to give them an idea of this is the amount of work that we're going to need you to be able to complete for a pay that results in that. We also look at roles, as we hire on new people and our employees are taking on more responsibility, so on and so forth, they get pay increases for that too because now their roles change. So I think you need to look at your area, minimum wage, add a little bit, consider work experience, and then
we pay
roles.
I'm just throwing a very general number out here, but our starting pay is about 50% higher than minimum wage, our starting pay.
Yes.
So if that gives you kind of an idea, again, I don't recommend duplicating every single thing we do. I recommend that you look at what your needs are, what you're asking them to do. We do ask a lot of our people too. So like starting them at higher than minimum wage is because they are being asked to do a lot. And over time, as performance gets better, we also have given them raises. And as performance continues to increase, we'll continue to give them raises because the output that they're giving us is worth the input that we're putting into them. So I would really look at that, but that was a personal decision. We decided we want to do more than minimum wage.
Autumn says they recently just got Posher VA and it's a game changer. So if anybody wants to try it,
a lot of you guys have reached out to me about Posher VA and they were like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe I waited so long to try this."
Yeah. It's good
game
stuff.
Changer. Game changer.
Mandy, I almost said Maddie. I was reading last name and first name together. Hi, ladies. Just recently found you on YouTube. Love you both. Question: do you guys delete some sold listings in list perfectly from last year after tax season is over? I was thinking of doing this.
We do not track.
That's a whole thing.
We do not use list perfectly to track solds. When an item sells, we delete it off of list perfectly. I think that list perfectly can be fantastic for tracking all of that stuff. Because I wasn't already in the practice of doing it, and because I already have kind of like my own way of tracking sales, I just pull the reports off of eBay, Poshmark, whatever platform I'm selling on. I have my own spreadsheet to like copy and paste that stuff into. But we don't use list perfectly to track that. We just delete things as we go. But I would say if I were doing it the way that you're doing it, I would probably hold on to that information. Or actually what I probably would do, I think there's a way you can pull a report for your solds, like so export like an Excel sales sheet. I would keep that for your records, and then maybe you could go ahead and delete them to kind of move that out. But I would make sure you keep a record of some sort.
Poshmark fee is more than eBay and Mercari. I do believe for both. I know eBay, but I was thinking about Mercari. But it's another opportunity to sell things that you might not have the chance to sell. So that's why we choose to use Poshmark. Plus, you don't pay until you sell, where eBay, you pay kind of regardless. So, like, we may pay to list something on eBay that we have listed on eBay, but ends up selling on Poshmark. So, it's up to you, one, whatever you'd like to do. But we think it's worth it.
We do get high price sales on Poshmark too. I know people probably see the what sold videos and they're like, yeah, your average sale price was $12. That's going to change soon because we've clearanced out a lot of stuff, but we do have some really good sales on Poshmark too that are full price. So even if you're not planning on using it for clearance, it can be a great way to move some of those items.
Irvin Gang says, how do you avoid selling the same item at the same time with list perfectly? So as Cayley just kind of went into the description on how we take stuff down, essentially, if it sells on one platform, we go on List Perfectly and end it everywhere else. No matter what process you do to use to end it, you can do however way. You can either do the LP process or you can do it the way we do. But as long as you're doing that, it's not going to be on the other platforms to sell again. So you just need to make sure that you're ending them.
We usually, yeah, I would say within about, besides sleeping, yes, your normal sleep time, I would say within about 2 to 3 hours of a sale happening, we're in there taking them down, sometimes much sooner than that. And we rarely have double sales. It's so funny. These same questions, someone just reached out to me this weekend on Instagram, the same story.
Maybe it was the same person.
I don't think so, because I answered them. But we just, because we have everything imported into List Perfectly, it makes it easier to take items down. So we just search the item in List Perfectly, click on the link to whatever platform it needs to go down on, end it in the app, delete off of List Perfectly, and move on. Like, it honestly takes like just seconds to do, as long as everything's working correctly, you've got everything logged correctly. But it would be, I mean, we sell some pretty desirable items, and I don't see double sales that often. So if you're worried about it,
maybe like
it's possible
once a month,
yeah,
if that.
It's probably not going to happen.
Okay. Any advice on what to do about looking up comps in a thrift store when they have horrible cell reception? I'm sure I pass on so many good things because I can't look up comps on the spot. Do they have Wi-Fi? Do they have a corner that you can hide into and search things? We go to a couple that, like, there's like one specific spot by the front door that you can get it. Most of them were like, oh, we're just coming up here to look stuff up, and they're fine with it. But other than that, like, if you got real desperate, you could like take pictures of the stuff you thought about buying, or like take notes on them and go outside and comp them if you had to. But I'd be surprised if there's not like somewhere in each store that you could find. But a lot of times we just play the guessing game. I know that's not the answer that Cayley probably wants me to give you, but I'm just going to give you that. I mean, once you get good enough at sourcing, I feel like you can look at things and say, yes, this feels, Cayley's favorite word, substantial. I'm probably going to get this. I might not know exactly how much I'm going to sell it for. You might have to take a risk on a couple things, but you know, you should be able to shop most of the store and feel pretty good about it. And then if there's a few things that you're like, this could be good, but I don't want to spend X amount of dollars on it until I know, take some pictures of it when you're in the store, go outside, load things up in your car, and then while you're out there, do the research on it and say, oh, wait, that actually is good. I'm going to go back in and get those things, or, man, I'm glad I skipped.
Yeah. I mean, we've never really had a thrift store where there's been zero signal. There's always a small corner or something where we can find it. It is, like, slow, so we do, like, almost spend twice the amount of time there. But my strategy is throw everything in the cart that you think might be valuable. And then at the end of, like, once you've gone through everything, or maybe intermittently every so many minutes, like, go to that corner, process through everything, and then dive back in. That's my method, because I really have a hard time picking stuff up if I haven't comped it. So, Bobby, thank you so much.
I think that's a kitty cat. And it makes my heart happy.
Thank you for the super, I think it's called a super sticker. Super chat-ish, but appreciate you.
Piece of Scrap said that she had to have a heart-to-heart with the postmaster. Now the package pickups are so easy. Whoop, whoop. M. Jane says, on eBay, do you have to fill out the description requires before it gets noticed?
Say that one more time.
On eBay, do you have to fill out the description required before it gets noticed? I think if it's required, you have to fill it out regardless before you can list it. If you're saying required, there's like there's eBay required items, and then there's eBay like suggested. Maybe you can give us more info on that. I'm not quite sure what you're talking about.
The drop downs or the description box. So
give us some more info. Thumbs up. Thanks, Carol. Whoop whoop. Sell Resell says you have to be very careful in the reselling world. Making the 100,000 is easy, but you have to realize that the bring home is typically 20 to 40,000 max. Dig into numbers deep. So as Cayley said, there is like grossing and netting, no matter what business you own, is always going to be very different. No matter what you gross doesn't really make a difference. I mean, it does and it doesn't, but there is always going to be a different take home. And then Shardy adding on to that says they were insinuating that all those successful reselling gurus were being deceitful in how they get their inventory. Yeah, I can see where people might think that, maybe not realizing. Like, I'm gonna be honest, I don't know if I've ever told you guys this or not, but I'm gonna tell you now. I had never been in a thrift store before I started with Cayley, like ever. Not in my life. Like, I might have been in a parking lot once. I might have donated some things, but like I don't think I'd ever even walked into one. So I had like no clue what I was getting into. So when she was like, "Do you want to work with me?" I was like, "Yeah." And I like ran in and I was like, "I'm gonna find so many good things." And I was like, "American Eagle jeans, that's where it's at." And I comped them and I was like, "These all suck." Like, I had no clue. I'd never heard of Free People. I'd never heard of Tommy Bahama. I'd never heard of, I don't know, Vince, or I mean, I obviously knew what like Ralph Lauren, and I knew about like the Chanel's and Louis Vuittons and like the really high dollar stuff. But I don't know that I'd ever seen one or touched one in my life. Like, we come from a really small area that like that stuff isn't glorified here in a way. Like,
Yeah.
people just wear what they wear and nobody really cares about style and nobody really seems to care about like specific brands. But I had no clue what I was getting into. So if you were somebody like me who maybe had never been into a thrift store before, I could see you being like, I don't know how you go into one Goodwill store and make that. Like, I was shocked kind of coming in with Cayley at the extent of like how many items she had and like how much money she was making on them. Like, had you told me that we could have sold over $200,000 last year in clothes, I'd be like, you're a sociopath. Like, there's no way. But it is. And like, I think honestly, I don't know these people. So, Shardy, give me some like room here to make mistakes. But I feel like if you know nothing about thrifting, if you know nothing about reselling, if you know nothing about these high dollar brands, I don't think that maybe they're like, and maybe they really did have a crappy tone. I don't know.
It almost sounds like they were like another reseller.
I don't know. It comes to me like maybe they just weren't knowledgeable enough in general about what was going on to give you that information or like answer that or believe you. So maybe they just need some like info. Maybe they need some reassurance.
Don't send them here. I don't want the bad comments on my channel.
Yeah, no, I'm good. Like, I'm good on the comments, but I'm just saying, like, maybe they weren't necessarily intentionally being like, "Oh, yeah, you suck." Like, there's no way you're lying. Maybe they're just more of like, I don't understand how that's possible because they never looked into it. If you had told me from day one that somebody sold $100,000 worth of stuff from Goodwill in an area like ours, I would have laughed at you and been like, you're funny. Like, there's no way. But again, I think it depends on your area. I think it depends on your knowledge level. And like, I had nothing before I started. So,
Cayley, just regarding this, yes, we are in Ohio. And so, yes, it is very small townish.
Yes. Michelle says, I'm selling what I bought from the last few years. The long tail, getting rid of my personal content, Swedish death cleaning project, essentially. Decided it wasn't feasible to actually sell for a living. I mean, getting rid of your own stuff's a good way to resell too. Might as well make your money. It's like having a yard sale, but doing it online, right?
We've been really focusing on that this year too. Not with our own stuff, but like just the older stuff that we picked up that is no longer good, flushing it out.
Sell Resell brought up a good point. Most newer phones can run 2 SIMs cards. Find a second carrier that does have service there. One carrier always has service. It's a business expense until you learn the brands. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Returns are killing me this week on eBay, and I do free shipping. I'm thinking of stopping the free shipping method because I am losing money.
I'm not a big fan of free shipping only because of that reason in particular. It also messes with like you marking down items. Like, when I mark down items, I don't have to worry about the shipping. I know shipping's covered, so I can mark something clear down to $1 and still know that the shipping is covered, versus if you're doing free shipping and you mark something down so cheap, you might actually be losing money to ship it out. So I'm not really a big fan of the free shipping.
Me either. I love shopping free shipping. Like, that's my favorite thing. But
that's why people love Closet Clear Out, though. Not that they get free shipping, but they get discounted shipping. Like, that's why we blow it out of the water on Closet Clear Out, because people get that incentive on the shipping.
The wishing clock says working a split shift, 2 hours in the morning and 3 in the evening after kids' bedtime has helped me find velocity. If I start and stop too much, I find myself quitting and not finishing my list. That's a good advice. I don't remember who originally was talking about the baby, and I'm not going to scroll because I will lose where we're at. But that is a good recommendation for anybody that has kids. Maybe just work around their schedules, wake up before they wake up, stay up after they go to sleep, work on nap times.
And be intentional within the time frame you have.
Have
plans. Try not to get distracted.
How long did it take you all to build up your store, and how much help have you had, and how many hours a day do you all work? There are 5 of us now. There were 4. We all work 40 hours a week. It's taken a long time in various levels. Obviously, Cayley started on her own and then has added people in, but I think I'm just going to say in general that it depends how much time and effort you put into them. If you're working 5 hours a week, you're working 40 hours a week, that's completely different. And it depends on, like she said, what was the word you just used? Dedicated. Be dedicated with your time. Depends how dedicated. Intentional. Yeah. Depends how intentional you are with your time.
You've been here for 2 years?
Almost, yes.
Yeah. She's been here for almost 2 years.
2-year reunion. 2-year anniversary. We're about to go do something fun.
Yeah. I had, she was the first, like W-2, I almost said hourly, but your salary. She was the first, like, 40-hour full-time person I ever had. Before that, I only had, like, independent contractors who would help me on things. But at the time you started, I want to say we were doing, like, $2,000 a week in sales. So it's taken 2 years to get to 6,000 to 7,000 is what I think our new, like, average is going to be, which is, by the way, some very fast growth. I would not expect to do that unless you have a team helping you. But again, so much goes into that. If you're by yourself, it's probably going to take you a lot longer to get there, right? So don't compare. Don't compare.
That's my number one advice. Number one takeaway from everything. Don't compare yourself to somebody else. Everybody's job, work, area, staff is completely different than what we have. So, like, what works for us might not work for you. Be open-minded. Try it if you want to try it. But don't think it's the Holy Grail.
Someone said they're new to the channel. They thought we were lifelong BFFs, but now they're finding out we're just coworkers.
Oh, no, we're not just coworkers. She does still like me. She does. Some days.
I wouldn't say we have been lifelong BFFs, but we've known each other since middle school. So in a way, yeah. But we actually have been friends for a very long time.
Yes.
Before ever working together. And then we worked together and we're still friends.
Places. Yeah.
And then, then we split and worked other places and we're still friends. And now we're back to working together. But we actually are longtime friends as well.
We still go do things together. Movies. I watched a scary movie for Cayley's birthday. It was terrifying. I hate scary movies with a passion, but I knew how much she loved them, so I went to watch one. We go to wineries sometimes. We go to ceramic shops sometimes. Like, we like to go do fun stuff together when we're not working.
We cry and vent sometimes.
Oh my God, yes. Yes, we are friends. We do work together, but we do have a strict policy that when we're in work, it's work, business first. When we're outside of work, it's friendly stuff first.
Yeah.
Are you comfortable with sharing when your birthday is?
It's in October.
Mine's in November. That's what I'm going to tell you. The last time.
I don't want to tell you my exact birthday. But
I didn't want to share that without you
October.
Knowing. Yes. I'm a November baby.
Fall gals here.
Fall gals. Somebody wanted to know. That's why I brought that up.
I think we have the most people that we've ever had on, 194. Maybe we'll hit 200.
200 today. Wake up your kids. Where is Jennifer? Jennifer, thrift generation, where are you? I need you to wake up your children. Are there any resellers that you like to watch on YouTube? I don't watch YouTube ever. Unless, like, I need to know how to fix something and I don't want to read the instruction manual.
I might do a video on this. I don't want to not say somebody and then anyone to get their feelings hurt, because I do watch a lot of people I don't watch them often. Like, I'm not consistently watching anybody because there are very few people that I learn from anymore. But I do watch people that are entertaining or that I consider reselling friends. People that I watch to learn from currently right now, and this is still not all the time, I used to be heavy into daily refinement. He focuses on a lot of processes and like efficiencies. I've really learned a lot from him. So I would say that would be like my number one. I also enjoy watching like Lavender Clothesline because I'm learning a little bit more about hard goods. I also enjoy watching McThriftsy because she focuses on like her whole business model is like strictly buying low, which is like shopping at bins and outlet stores. So I really enjoy watching her because I learn about like style based stuff. I feel like those are the people that I actually learn from. As far as like people I enjoy to watch that I consider like reselling friends that I'll pop into every now and then, like, you know, we mentioned Big Yumbo, he's pretty cool. Thrift Life is another I'd consider like a reselling bro. We have a lot of the same business models.
Can you stop saying bro?
Well, I don't want to be like,
that's so uncomfortable for
that's
me.
how they talk.
I don't care. That's not how you talk.
I don't want to say that they're like best friends because like I don't know how they feel and we don't talk on a daily basis, but like we interact like online together. But you know, you're making me embarrassed. But anyways, I enjoy watching those two. I feel like we all kind of have the same personality and like policies on how we like to resell. But
I'm literally gonna tell everybody that you're my bro. When they ask how we're like related or how we interact, she's my bro.
To be fair,
or my bae.
I did used to talk like that in high school because I was part of like the emo scene kid crowd. And for like a year, this is probably sharing too much, but for like a year, my friends group, which was made out of like 10-ish people, we did this thing where we called each other bruh all the time. And we would come up with like, we'd call each other like brasif. Like you would come up with different variations of bruh and bro. So like I did used to talk like that. It doesn't feel weird to me. Anyways,
my English
I also don't want people to think that I have like a crush on these guys when they're friends. You know what I mean? That's why I use the word bro.
My English heart is dying right now. It's
bruh.
like
bruh.
Oh, okay. Anyways, before she derails me, I literally like I just can't. Okay, it's fine.
Questions. 200 people watching.
Yay! Sorry, probably scared our woman one over there. She's probably like, what the heck is going on?
That's so cool. That's a lot of people. So we're going. People are laughing.
It's just
someone said bro is pretty perfect for those boys. Like you get it. If she watched them, she'd be like, okay, yeah, I get it.
I just don't use that word. That's what it is. Like, I don't know. There's all these things like it's been a minute when it's been like 2 years. I don't freaking get it.
It's been a hot second.
Oh my god. Like it's been a while. There are words. Oh, so sorry. Oh, the dog bark.
Sorry.
Yeah, I don't know. My husband likes to use things like it slaps, and I'm like, can you stop? Like, my poor kids are not going to make it. It's not going to happen. It's fine.
We've all got our little things that I'm sure annoy each other. Okay, so we're over an hour. The scream made us drop beneath 200.
Yeah, they're like,
it was like 202, 199. So we're gonna dive through questions. I am planning on getting off here soon.
At noon. I have lunch plans.
No, before noon.
Oh well, I'm leaving at noon.
Yeah, we need to get off here soon because it's about lunchtime.
All right.
We do have stuff to do. So if you do have any questions, drop them down below.
What?
Oh.
I can start rapid fire. You're fine. You want to go do that?
Yeah, we gotta order Chipotle. Let's go.
Okay. How do you determine your selling prices on eBay aside from checking solds? I see you have a very specific price, including cents. Cliff Notes version. Don't go into too many details.
It's just solds. We make sure to focus on 100% sell-through rate, meaning as many that are listed are as many that have sold or more. And then we feel comfortable just checking the solds. And beyond that, we pretty much don't follow anything else. If we do have to, I usually look at like Google Shopping, but that's still to me like comparable solds. Okay.
My Google thinks we're talking.
Next.
I have full-length boots to ship. I have the box, but not suitable for shipping. I went to the UPS store, and they want $14.95 for a box. How do you handle this?
Usually the boots that we ship that are tall are like slightly foldable. Like I wouldn't damage them, but we use a box 7 and we almost like angle them diagonally.
Like an L kind of.
Yeah, like in the box.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm able to fit. I've never had a pair of boots, I don't think, that I haven't been able to fit in a
Or
box
a regional.
7. But if that's what it takes to ship it,
Send it.
then you've learned your lesson for next time, right?
Is global shipping completely gone?
No.
She said, Honey Gigi says she doesn't see that option anymore.
Do you mean like direct global shipping? They're switching to, I don't know, maybe they are taking away direct global shipping.
I don't know.
I don't use direct global shipping, so I don't know. You could still use pirate ship if you wanted to do that. I think you could still do direct shipping, but they're currently in the process of rolling out a new global shipping program, which is maybe why you're not seeing all the options.
If we can get to 125 likes, what should we do? 150 likes. What should we do? Something funny.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, I'm gonna make Cayley really uncomfortable. If
I
we
already
get
was
100,
embarrassed. It's her turn.
if we get 150 likes today, I will let Cayley pie me in the face. Not today, but next live.
On another
Because
live?
I have to go get some like whipped cream stuff and stuff so she can pie my face, but I don't have that today. But if we can get to 150 as the likes start increasing, 150 likes, I will let her pie me in the face. And if you have any other suggestions, I'm open to that too. If we get to 200 likes, I'll let you guys pick something. It's fine. My whole life is the F it mentality, so it's fine. Roz Rock says, I love your channel and thinking about selling on eBay. How would I know how much to charge for shipping? What boxes should I use? Thanks in advance. Go.
We use calculated shipping on eBay. I have a video. Maybe one of my really kind mods might put the link down in the or not the description, but might put the link in the chat for you. But there are how to ship on eBay videos. I can't explain it all here on this live, but those videos are really good. So if I do say so myself, but they've helped a lot of people. So if someone does not put the link in there, just search Cayley Elaine eBay shipping, and there's like 2 videos. One's really detailed, one's not as much detailed. I would go watch those videos. I go into depth, and you can learn all about shipping, which boxes to pick, and all that. Watch a scary movie for a reward.
Oh no. Please God. And record it. No, you literally will watch me like this the whole time.
123, we're
getting close. All right. Lori, hugs back to you. We love you. Ashley said, stand on a mat when you're doing photos and not get off of it. That's a good thing.
Maybe like masking
like
tape,
a
box that you're not allowed out of.
Thanks, Hannah, for that. I have purchased a box resizer. It allows you to score and fold a bigger box down into the good size for your items. Buy a packing box from Staples or Walmart, less than $1. That's a good tip. We call that Frankenboxing here. We Frankenbox a lot.
Like Frankenstein.
Yeah,
box,
Frankenbox.
Yeah. Build your own box.
Do you ever dry clean any dirty items like coats? No.
No.
If we have to dry clean it, we don't pick it up. Just curious, how many employees besides yourself do you have, if you're comfortable sharing? There are 5 of us. 5.
There's me, there's Nikki, who's a manager, and then there are 2 in-office full-time employees here, and then we just like literally like a couple weeks ago took somebody else on that is basically going to be doing the same thing, sourcing office stuff, who is also technically full-time. They are kind of like on a trial period to make sure it works for both of us, but currently, besides myself, there are 4 other people, so a total of 5. However, once again, trying to remove myself from being the hands in the business. So really, they do most of it, but yeah.
Early spring is the best time to hit garage sales. That's when they unclutter the closets and you'll get the best deals if you're not afraid to make an offer to them of what is selling.
We need to do better about yard sales.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Completely understandable, and proper HR wise that you don't put your employees' pay policies out in public. Yes.
Yeah.
Aw, Rohan, I love you too. I don't know who you are, but I love you. I live in Gatlinburg area. So many garage sales, you can't go to all of them. It's a good problem.
That'd be fun. Take a trip to do yard sailing in Gatlinburg.
Yeah. I may or may not have gone thrifting in Pigeon Forge and Gatlinburg. I wouldn't have told you this, but it's already way past. My husband and I went there last year for our 10-year wedding anniversary, and I may have thrifted a little bit when I was there. I didn't have a lot of time because, I had my husband, and he's like, why are you working when we're supposed to be on our anniversary trip? But I liked to go into a couple. It was good. I think you've been there too, somewhere in Tennessee. Not that
It was
place.
Knoxville,
Yeah.
and it was, I wouldn't say it was bad, but
Yeah.
it wasn't great.
Yeah, so pay again is different between states. So you're right. I don't know what pay rates look like in Florida, or like what minimum wage is there, but you just kind of have to depend what that looks like for you.
For example, if like here I offered somebody $10, they'd be like, yeah, that's pretty decent. $10 an hour, entry level job. If you offer that in California, I'm not even sure that would be minimum wage. I'm pretty sure like in California you have to offer like $18-20 to even like get somebody in the door. So just different perspectives, to think about depending on where you're at.
I can use spreadsheets but can't make them. I have one for Mercari and one for Poshmark. I purchased earlier. I really need one for eBay. Any suggestions where I can purchase one? I'm a denim shoe seller. Thanks.
Purchase a spreadsheet for what?
I'm assuming to track sales, but I don't know.
I would recommend Joe said $10 an hour. Yeah, believe it or not, I could get a ton of candidates in the door with $10 an hour.
Yeah.
Believe it or not.
I think our minimum wage here is like $8.65.
Yeah.
Something like that. I don't know.
Spreadsheet wise, if you're going to be a reseller, maybe this is an unpopular opinion, but I think you need to know the basics of how to use spreadsheets, because every platform you're on has spreadsheets, and you're probably going to need to use a spreadsheet at some point. So instead of recommending one, because I don't know of one to go and purchase, I would recommend just learning how to make one myself.
Joe, a cup of Starbucks where we are, I don't know, it just went up the other day, but it was like $5.
No, it was like $6 to $7.
Oh, okay. $6 to $7.
Like one of the seasonal drinks though.
Eggs here are like $5.99 a 12 pack or a dozen.
Yeah.
Keep us posted, because now I need to know. That stuff amazes me. I'm gonna be Googling like San Francisco, California, how much are their eggs?
Yeah,
later.
our thrift stores are cheaper too. Like everybody always comments, like $4.89 is like really cheap for them.
Cayley, we broke up with Mercari because we were listing things and they weren't selling. To be fair, we weren't putting as much time or effort in as what we needed to be, but we felt like we were maybe overextending ourselves. So we kind of reeled back, focused on eBay and Poshmark, and we do anticipate on eventually cross-posting all of our items again to Mercari. We're just not there yet. We've really been working on hiring and implementing processes, and then we can kind of go from there. So
in Portland, Oregon, it's a $15 minimum wage. So see guys, that's why we don't like sharing direct numbers, because someone's trying to duplicate my business. You're never going to be able to do it, because if it's like $8 to $9 here minimum wage, but it's $15 somewhere else, you're never going to be able to replicate. You see what I'm saying?
I mean,
like,
if I came on here today and I said total, and this is not the truth, so just cutting it out, right? Say we pay every single employee $10 an hour here. Again, these are just made up numbers, easy math. $10 an hour here. There are 4 of us plus Cayley, so we'll just exempt her. So that's saying that for every hour, we're paying $40 for each person to be here. Whatever that shakes out to be. If we told you we paid X amount of dollars in payroll for the week, you would probably look at us and be like, there's no way. This would be another, there's no way $100,000 can be made on one Goodwill. This would be another situation where you'd be like, there's no way you have 4 employees and that you're only paying for X amount of dollars for all of them. Because where you're at, that might not make sense. But where we are, cost of living is a lot cheaper than other places.
If I paid someone $15 an hour here, if I offered that like as an entry-level position, we'd probably have so many candidates. It'd be ridiculous.
We already had so many candidates. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
It was a lot.
Like that's almost double minimum wage here.
It is. Well, yeah,
So
almost $8, like $8.35.
It's just, it varies so much, and I don't want people to think we're stuck up or not being transparent. This was a good conversation to have with everybody.
Any suggestions on how to get my first 500 subscribers on YouTube?
Consistency.
Sorry that like left pending forever, Josh. That I didn't see it pop up. So
my advice for YouTube is to be consistent. It's the same as reselling. Consistent videos, consistent quality videos. Same thing with consistent quality listings.
Don't pay attention to how many followers you have, because then you'll like designate your entire life to chasing that, when I think if you just put out good content, you'll find
Joe, they might be clickbait, but we're not telling you to go run to their channel.
I don't. So. Main difference from LP Pro versus Basic. Have Pro thinking of downgrading, just got PR. What is PR?
She said photo room.
Oh.
You'd have to, it's been so long since I've even looked at those, because we do use the highest tier and it works for us, and we mainly do that because for the shipping stuff to be included in case we put it to other platforms. But you'd have to really look. If you type in list perfectly subscriptions, it breaks it all down, like they have stuff on their website. But I think a lot of that is like what details you're bringing over. Is it going to bring in the shipping and weight and all of that? Is it going to allow you to background remove? Like you're going to have to look at all those piece by piece, but we personally use the largest one. We actually might be able to get away with downgrading now that we're listing on eBay. I haven't thought about that.
Yeah. A lot of people made comments about not being in thrift stores before they learn to sell and learning the things that resell. Honestly, like even though we've been reselling, the best thing that we've been able to do is still comping things. We find brands every day that we've like come across and maybe skipped, that we're like, oh, we could have been picking that up, but we had no idea.
We're learning every day.
We are learning every single day. Cayley, we don't ever really tell you exactly where we are. We're just going to tell you that we're in Ohio somewhere. But not trying to say that to like be mean, just saying that because
we've had some situations that have been kind of sketchy. And I know that people say you put yourself out on YouTube, you're going to have that, but like, I don't want that. So we're very cautious, sharing where we're at exactly, where we thrift and all that, but we are in Ohio.
Do we offer free returns? Yes.
Yes. Buyers can push you to do free returns, so we think you might as well just offer them and get the benefit of offering them.
Somebody else used the word Frankenboxing, and that made my heart happy. So.
Oh.
What do you do for insurance?
I have to. We do not offer insurance to our employees currently. It's something that maybe I'd like to do in the future. But so anybody that works here, including myself, has to either purchase their own insurance. I personally purchased my own plan through like the marketplace, or a lot of times people that we hire have like husbands or parents or whatever that they're a part of their health insurance plan. If you're talking about like liability insurance, I go through like business insurance. I go through company to pay for that, but you just do everything out of pocket and try to get the cheapest with as much coverage as you want.
What size store do you have on eBay? Do you know? I don't know.
It's not the biggest one. I think it's like the second biggest. It's been a while, but we're nowhere close to needing to upgrade.
When do you make the decision that you want to increase?
I've got another video coming soon. You got to do some basic calculations based on the fees that they charge you. You get a discount on certain fees for listing. So it all depends on how much you have listed and how much you intend on listing. I can't go into the math here, but I do have a video coming up soon. But if you want, you could do your own math and just kind of calculate how much you're going to pay in fees to determine which one's right for you.
What do you do with the bad choices you made when you first started? I would say discount as much as what you can, and then if you don't sell them, once they get like as low as what you could do them, then just donate them. She's talking about American Eagle jeans. Maybe look at renewing your listings. I know some people have some like really old listings that might not have been so great because you had no clue what you were doing. Sometimes just updating those and adding some more details can help. But yes.
Could also take them to like a buy sell trade store just to get as much out of them as you can, like Plato's Closet or like a consignment shop. They might take them and give you a couple bucks so that you're getting something back for them.
Our listings, we put out listings. We right now are doing 35 a day. That's about to increase again. We were doing them like every 30 minutes, but we went to doing them all at the same time just because we didn't really notice a difference. We have also started putting them in scheduling them for like noon, and then when we come in the morning, we're just setting them all active, and that way we're not paying the fees for them. Fun fact, it's a cheater on eBay. Don't tell them because they might change it. Cayley's birthday is not October 31st. Sorry. It is not Halloween.
Or maybe it is.
Or maybe it is. I don't know. Do you think you could share where your sweater's from? I love waffle knit. Hannah wants to know.
Can you look? My mom just got it for me at
Up
Christmas.
West. Resort and Mercantile. I don't know.
The brand is Up West. It's like a boutique here in Ohio that just opened up. So I don't know if they have a website, but that's what it is. They make all this comfy like waffle knit clothing. This has like bishop sleeves. I love it.
It's very comfy. Thank you guys for all coming. We appreciate you. Do you relist old items before they expire as a still similar? Do you check for expiring soon daily? We just have ours on auto renew, right?
Yeah, we have an auto renew. We used to do an end and sell similar. We stopped doing that, and instead we just do markdowns every month, and that's been pretty successful.
Back to the bro comments. 200. Woo! I'm sorry I made your dog bark. Would you consider creating a manifesto like Thrift Ally has? ?
I've been asked that a lot, and here's my answer. To me, it'd be easier to do a menswear manifesto like he did. I don't want to steal his idea, so I'd probably have to ask him about it first. But in order to create a women's wear, there are a lot more factors and details that go into the sell-through rate of women's items. It would take me a very long time, and it would probably be a very long manifesto. And also, like, you make it and then it could change next month. So I think what we're going to do instead, I really enjoy doing like brand deep dives. I've done one on like Ralph Lauren. I've been thinking about doing one on like some of the more common brands, like American Eagle, for instance, what sells in American Eagle and what doesn't. So I might just do videos of like brand deep dives instead. I think that would be more beneficial.
Sold. Good. More bra stuff. Darn. Templates are a lifesaver. You are right, Johnny. I love your pricing model to show when an item is listed. How do you handle items that overlap the next year, i.e. listed? Hopefully they're gone. We are at that point are discounting them, so they're not going to have the same like 0.91 that they would have at that point.
We can usually tell too. I mean, if we've touched an item lately, we're going to know it's newer versus if it's an older one, we'd be like, oh, I wouldn't pick that up right now. So we would know it's an older item.
You guys, you have 133 likes. We are not going to make it to 150 because I'm almost to the bottom of these. So y'all better step it up.
If you want to see Nikki pie in the face,
whipped cream pie,
hit the like button.
Jesse, we're not telling you what her birthday is. November and October. That's it. That's all you get. I'll tell you I'm a Scorpio. That should tell you a lot about me. Fire.
We're both Scorpios.
Sting. Sorry if that hurt. 20 more minutes. 150 like equals 20 more minutes. I think we're there. We're getting close. Just do the happy dance. Okay. Watch a scary movie. I'd love watching you like that. That'd be funny. No. Mm-mm.
It is funny.
Hannah, thanks for being the only mod here, and putting links
Little Miss Nat is here. I just saw a comment.
I've missed you. You guys are both making me homesick for Midwest and the South. I thought that wasn't possible. I'm sorry. Jesse, I am married. I don't know if Cayley wants to share her married status or not, but I am married.
Not currently married.
Except to me. Every day. Sorry, I'm just like reading through some of these, just random things about eggs we were talking about, and I'm just trying to make sure we get there. So,
Reading comments about eggs. I'm sorry, that was really funny. Those were interesting. I was like, well, that's a lot for eggs.
My God. Okay, hold on. This jumped again. That's my nervous laugh. You like that? I gave it Mercari because I felt shipping was too restrictive. I had to cancel on orders because I needed a different shipping label and they can't charge it once it's created. That's crazy.
Cayley is a Scorpio, not a Libra.
Yep.
3 more likes, Dickie. 3 more likes.
I love your pricing model of the show. We already talked about that. You need to start weighing the item in boxes before you list. Then, yes, that's a good tip. We use that for anything that can't fit in like a padded mailer. Any tips on how to simplify bookkeeping? No. Just kidding. We've talked about that a lot, but we have not decided to do that because, again, it's like based on every business. So it's a little bit crazy. Not saying you have to do this or that it's the best thing to do, but Mercari is the only platform I provide free shipping so that I can use pirate ship. Total peace of mind. That's a good tip. Yeah. Confessions. I haven't listened in about 4 weeks, was on vacation for 2 and then came home and had medical stuff happening. Still getting sales, but I'm kind of starting from scratch this week. Well, good luck, Joe. Praying for you.
Yeah. It is like starting from scratch when you stop for a while. It's like eBay punishes you for a while.
Quick pet peeve, when you price drop or discount heavily on Posh and they still counter less. Dude, I just gave you 30 to 40% off. Me, every day.
Yeah.
Oh, crap. 151. We did it.
Okay, no take backs.
I mean, I said it on live, so like I can't go back now. So you have to remind me when I get off of here that I have to pick up a pie plate and whipped cream.
We'll have to title the live Nikki Gets Pie to the Face so they know which one it is. Yeah.
Yep. Next live. Sold. Make sure you're here. Do you find it hard to pay full price now for new items? Yes. I have not bought anything new clothes since I started working with Cayley.
The only thing I have that's like new is stuff people buy me, like this sweater for Christmas.
When do you decide to put an item in your cart? Comps amount listed to sold percent. So it would have to be the amount of available is less than the amount has sold. We're like getting towards the end here. But then at that point, the shipping becomes way too much and I sit down unless you want to take a hit, which I don't. The last time it happened with a pair of jeans. So for us, it seems like there's some issues with shipping still. For us, what we do is we weigh every single item in just the bag that like we store it in or ship it out in on the scale. So it's like, say it's 5.2 ounces. We round it up to 6. And then that's the way we do it. So that accounts for like the stickers we put on it. That accounts for, like the padded or the mail or whatever that looks like. If it's going to weigh more than a pound, so like 1.1, we are going to put it in a padded if it will fit. If it doesn't, then we put it in a box and weigh it. And then that includes whether we, whatever kind of box we're going to put it in it. That includes any packaging we're going to put in it. That includes we put it in a poly mailer or a Trivex. Is that what you call this? Travex?
Tyvek.
Tyvek. I don't know. I'm thinking Eddie Bauer
Tyvek,
apparently.
Yeah.
Watch so like video. That includes for all of those to make an adjustment. What a Nancy. If that doesn't make sense to you, watch that video and it should help. But that's the best way. Yes, do brand deep dives. They want that. What size Hulkins do you use? We have a large and 2 extra larges. Yeah. Okay. Unpopular opinion, I hate Hulkins. Here's why. I loved them at first, but now that we've had them for a while, they like won't stand up. Like if they had Hulkins with frames on the side to hold them up for shipping, I would be game. But I don't know. They just keep falling over and they're not as spectacular as I thought they would be for the amount. Now they are game changers for bins or shipping or whatever, but I wish they have room for improvement. Let me say that. Like 8 out of 10. Still not a bad failure. 8 out of 10.
I really like them still, but I will say they do have weight limits that we have exceeded pretty much every single day. And had we not exceeded them, they might still be holding up. Yes, Joe, a Hulkin is like a rolling, very large tote bag. A brand of them.
Patrick, he has been removed, but he is the fart king. He farts a lot. If you guys wanted to know.
Thanks for modding.
Yeah.
I've seen some comments removed, and I'm like, great.
Thanks, Hannah. Appreciate you. Sorry that the fart king's gone. Do you mind sharing what the return percentage is? Do you remember what that was? I think it was like 6% or something.
No, I think it's like
maybe I'm wrong.
3 to 4% now. Our returns have actually gone down quite a bit, but not a lot. I want to say it was like 3 to 4%. That might even be here. You can check. Go on to active performance, seller level.
Oh, but wait, I have to sign in. Oh, that's the username. Girl, we changing that password today.
I feel like eBay calculates return rates differently, but if it gives you like, we usually have like maybe
4.98%.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. Little Miss Knot just snuck in. 3 more likes, guys. We got it. We have not hit 200. If you hit 200, you can decide what you want to do. But Cayley is not a Libra. Cayley is a Scorpio. How do you, we already talked about ship those boots. I think we just kept missing it, so you put it in a couple times. I was officially returned to the market a few years ago. My mom laughed at that one this weekend when I said I hate the word divorce. Return to the market. I like that. We talk about returns all the time. It fits. Honestly, depending on a carrier for your business is lazy. What happens if they don't show up or pick up your items? If you're at your handling time cutoff, then you're done. You've done for a late shipment and get a defect. Yeah, that's true.
You're right.
Hiding in the background, listening to all your great info while I work. Love you, girls. Love you too. Plus, my mom understood the analogy with all my shopping of returning things. I like that. They answered you a little bit ago. They use box 7 and fold them a bit. Thank you, What a Nancy, for adding that in. Sometimes we are really behind on the chat just because, like, we try not to refresh it so we stay where we're at. And sometimes we miss it. Screenshot it. It's at 150. I love that. It's fine. We'll do it. I live my whole life mentality by just, like, what happens, happens. So, like, y'all aren't gonna face me. It's fine. Scorpio friends, my birthday is between you two. Yay! We love you, Wishing Clock Hannah. If you can't handle investing an hour to drive to the post office and back, make sure your business is successful. And make sure your items get scanned in, then you're a step behind. Yeah. Like I said, we're lucky that we don't have to stand with them all the time. We've never had issues with them. We know that they work on it. They call us if they have issues or like questions or if labels don't work or whatever. Yeah. But again, we're from a very small area, so the reality of it is our packages are mostly the only things that they're shipping every day. They might have like one-offs from other people coming in, but as far as like large scale, we're the only ones that they really have. And they just call us if they had issues. They call us when they need supplies ordered. Like, we have a really good working relationship with them.
I don't think going to the post office takes an hour unless you live far away. Most places, like if you have to go, they'll let you, if you just kind of talk to them and let them know that you're going to be bringing in packages every day, most of the times they'll let you drop them off on the counter if you're comfortable doing that, or even like drop them off on, some of them have back docks, and I never had an issue doing that. I never felt like I had to like wait in line to get stuff scanned. But I did feel like I had to go and like physically put it on their property to get it scanned. But there's different ways of doing things. If you just talk to your post office, most of the time they'll like create some exceptions for you to get your packages in faster.
Just some people talking about lowball offers. Yeah, so Johnny brings up a good point, suggesting working on one thing and concentrating on that before you switch to doing something else, such as do all your photos at once, do your templates at so forth and so on. Beyond just like Johnny talking about like everyday little medial tasks, like each individual daily task, I think that that's true for like your entire reselling business. Focus on doing one thing till you get really good at it, whether that's just eBay, whether that's just Poshmark, whether that's just Mercari. Get really good at each individual thing you're doing. Break down all your processes, make sure that it's the way you want it to be, and then add on. And I think he brings up a really good point on that, even with just templates or photos or shipping or whatever that is. Get really good at it and then build on.
We're at the end.
We are at the end.
I'm getting off. I gotta order Chipotle.
Thank you guys for getting on. Thanks
Yes.
for the 158 likes. Better luck that next week. Are we doing this Monday?
I don't know.
We got to commit to a day so that they know when to come back for the pie.
I will post about it in advance, and I
Okay.
will title it "Nikki Gets Pied in the Face."
Okay, yes. So next live, maybe Monday. We shall see. I just need to know ahead of time too so I can wear good clothes. And
I'm hearing it probably.
no, girl, we're going to send it. I'm going to let just whipped cream. I would go get a hose outside. It's fine. It's very cold, but it's fine.
So bad.
Don't feel bad. You get the enjoyment out of this. It's good. So we will see you guys then. Come back to join us. Bring your friends, because if we get to 200 likes, you can get something else. So
CC, we
think about
try to be on every week, but it has not been happening. So right now it's just intermittent, but usually I do try to at least a day in advance let people know that we're going to be on. But I might hopefully with this one I'll be able to let you guys know sooner. So if you just kind of keep an eye on the channel, it should let you know like when we schedule it.
oh, I'm so excited. There's more likes coming in. They're like, we're going to get to 200.
All right,
All right.
we're getting off.
See you guys later. Thank you. See you guys next time.